Who is Madame Xanadu? She first appeared in Doorway to Nightmare 1. In the early days of the world, there existed a subrace of naturally magic-wielding humans. They were called the Homo Magi. Amongst them was a gifted young girl named Nimue in Wood. Nimue had the unique gift to predict the future through ancient runes. Even the human sorcerers such as the druids sought wisdom and guidance from Nimue. Recently she had been seeing a dangerous future coming, and she sought answers. The Homo Magi were located in the deep woods outside of the kingdom of Camelot. Nimue had developed an intimate relationship with Merlin, who was the wizard of Camelot. One night, Nimue was visited by a mysterious man in the woods. This man seemed very wise and appeared to personally know her even though she had never seen him before. This mysterious man had no name, he was only known as the Phantom Stranger. The stranger then warned her of a doom that was coming to Camelot, and that her lover Merlin was responsible. He then walks with her through a village, and explains that Merlin is actually a creature from the darkness and consults with demons. Suddenly, knights began to slay the people in the village. The destruction of Camelot had begun. Nimue was horrified and then runs into the woods only to be met once again by the stranger. He warns her that she alone can stop the evil of Merlin. Nimue quickly prepares her tinctures and potions and creates an enchantment to use against Merlin. This enchantment would shortly allow someone to fall under her control. She then finds Merlin and then lures him into the woods. Deep into the woods, Nimue uses her magic to bind Merlin. Then she attempts to cast a spell upon him. Merlin suddenly awakes from the enchantment and casts a powerful spell upon her. Nimue fell to the ground and realized that she had been stripped of her magical abilities. Camelot was quickly destroyed and thousands were massacred, and the Phantom Stranger was nowhere to be found. Soon after, the humans began to take over the land, which caused the Homo Magi to disappear. Nimue was broken from these events and decided to travel the world to seek something new. Many years later, she eventually ended up in the Mongol Empire and served the Great Khan. Nimue became a prophet and astrologist for the Khan. She spent just over a century here in the Xanadu Palace, and played a great part in their history. From her valuable help, the Khan gifted her with a very rare magical artifact. Once she touched this artifact, the mystical power flowed through her, causing some of her magical abilities to return to her. Eventually she left the Mongol Empire and turned up years later in Europe. She had become a fortune teller. She was now known as Madame Xanadu. She had spent over a century creating and mastering her own fortune tarot cards. Through her travels, she was frequently visited by the Phantom Stranger, who would try to guide her path. Many years later, she had become an old woman and ended up in prison during the revolution. While in prison, she summoned the entity of death. She convinced death to let her deal cards to see her own future. As the cards were dealt, the last card was a card of liberty and new beginnings. After besting death, she was then granted immortality and teleported out of prison. Xanadu then crafted an elixir that gave her back her youth. Over the span of history, Xanadu became known as the best fortune teller in the world. She would often help people that were plagued by supernatural problems. Xanadu eventually moved into a small neighborhood in New York. There she opened her own fortune-telling shop and currently resides here. Since then, she has lended help to many heroes such as the Justice League in times of need. Even though her magical abilities are limited, her mastery of the arcane arts has allowed her to manipulate various sources in order to gain massive amounts of power. She has become so powerful that she was once able to be the host of the Spectre for a short time. With the abilities to access almost any magical power, mastery in arcane spell crafting, and the ability to see the future, she is one of the most powerful sorcerers in the world. Please like this video and subscribe for more unknown comic origins.